What if I told you there's actually a formula for happiness? That after decades of scientific research, we now know what truly makes us happy. It might sound like wishful thinking, but it's real. Researchers from Harvard and other institutions have spent years studying happiness, not the fleeting kind, but the kind that lasts. So here's the big question. What actually makes us happy? Is it money, fame, success, or is it something more meaningful, something we can all cultivate in our lives? And most importantly, how can we take these findings and use them to build a life that feels fulfilling and joyful? Let's explore what the science of happiness has to say. First, let's address a common misconception. Many of us believe happiness comes from external things, like getting a big promotion, buying a dream car, or even gaining millions of followers on social media. And yes, those things might make you happy for a while, but here's the catch. It doesn't last. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. It's like running in place. You achieve something big, you feel great for a bit, and then you adapt. Before you know it, you're back to square one, chasing the next thing. So if money and achievements don't bring lasting happiness, what does? That's where something called positive psychology comes in. Now, positive psychology is fascinating. Unlike traditional psychology, which often focuses on diagnosing and treating mental illness, positive psychology is all about what makes life worth living. What helps us thrive, not just survive. One of the leaders in this field, Martin Seligman, introduced something called the PERMA model. It breaks happiness into 5 key elements. Let's walk through them. First, we have positive emotions, the joy, gratitude, and love that make life feel good. Then there's engagement. Those moments when you're so absorbed in something you love that time just flies. Third is relationships, the connections with others that bring meaning to our lives. Next is meaning, a sense of purpose that makes our efforts feel worthwhile. And finally, accomplishments, the satisfaction of setting and achieving goals. This framework gives us a great foundation, but let me share something even more remarkable. Have you heard of the Harvard study of adult development? It's one of the longest-running studies in history. It began in 1938 and tracked hundreds of people over their entire lives. The goal was to figure out what makes people happy and healthy in the long term. And do you know what they found? The key to a fulfilling life isn't money, fame, or professional success. It's relationships. People with strong, meaningful connections, whether with family, friends, or their community, were not only happier, but also healthier. They lived longer, had better mental health, and even reported greater satisfaction with their lives overall. And it's not about having a ton of friends or a huge social network. It's about quality. Do you feel supported, loved, understood? Those are the connections that truly matter. But relationships aren't the only piece of the puzzle. There are simple, practical steps you can take to cultivate happiness in your life, starting right now. One of the easiest things you can do is practice gratitude. Studies show that people who take just a few minutes each day to write down 3 things they're grateful for feel happier and more optimistic. It's a small habit that has a big impact. Another tip: nurture your relationships. This can be as simple as calling a friend, having dinner with your family, or sending a kind message to someone you care about. The effort you put into your connections will come back to you in the form of deeper joy and fulfillment. And here's something else to consider. Find activities that put you in a state of flow. Have you ever been so immersed in something that you completely lost track of time? That's flow. Whether it's painting, gardening, or even solving a puzzle, flow is one of the most satisfying experiences you can have. Another important piece of the happiness puzzle is meaning. Ask yourself, what gives your life purpose? For some people, it's helping others. For others, it's working on a passion project or spending time with loved ones. When your actions align with your deeper values, you create a sense of purpose that fuels your happiness. And don't forget to celebrate the small wins. We often wait for big milestones, like landing a dream job or buying a house, to feel happy. But life is made up of little moments. Did you finish a task you've been procrastinating on? Celebrate it. Those small victories add up. Now let's talk about mindset, because it's a game changer. Have you heard of the term growth mindset? Psychologist Carol Dweck's research shows that people who believe they can improve are more resilient and optimistic. So, the next time you face a challenge, instead of saying, "I can't do this," try saying, "I'm still learning." It might seem like a small shift, but it can make a huge difference in how you approach life. At the end of the day, happiness isn't about achieving perfection. It's about progress. It's about connection, purpose, and appreciating the journey. And here's the thing, happiness is a choice. It's something you build, one step at a time. You don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Pick one thing, whether it's practicing gratitude, focusing on your relationships, or trying something new, and see where it takes you. So what will your first step be? Will you start a gratitude journal? Reach out to someone you care about? Or maybe take a few minutes to reflect on what gives your life meaning. Whatever you choose, remember, happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create. Thanks for listening, and I hope this inspires you to take that first step. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on building a life you love. Happiness is within your reach. You just have to take that first step.